Imagine an organization that shaped modern sports, championed racial equality, and inspired millions to grow in body, mind, and spirit, all beginning with a few prayerful young men in a London shop. That's the story of the YMCA, one of the most influential Christian movements in modern history. The Young Men's Christian Association, or YMCA, began in 1844 when George Williams, a young draper from Somerset, gathered 11 like minded Christian co workers in London. They met in a room above a drapery shop at St. Paul's Churchyard to address the spiritual and moral decay they saw among young men drawn into the fast paced, industrialized city. London was then a hub of opportunity and danger alike. Factories, overcrowded housing, and the temptations of taverns and brothels made it easy for newcomers to lose their moral footing. Williams, deeply moved by his faith, longed to create a refuge, a place where young men could grow spiritually and morally while enjoying fellowship and self improvement. That small meeting on June 6, 1844, marked the birth of a movement that would eventually reach the world. The first gatherings focused on Bible study, prayer, and encouragement, but the founders soon expanded their mission. They understood that spiritual health could not be separated from mental and physical well being. They began offering lectures, reading rooms, and wholesome social activities, one of the earliest efforts to unite faith, taste, education, and recreation under a single purpose. In an age when class and denominational divisions were rigid, the YMCA's non-sectarian approach was groundbreaking. It welcomed men from varied social and denominational backgrounds, embodying the Christian conviction that service and community transcended social barriers. By the early 1850s, the YMCA's message spread rapidly. In just 7 years, there were 24 branches in Great Britain with nearly 3,000 members. The movement soon crossed the Atlantic, taking root in North America. The first associations in Montreal and Boston appeared in 1851, and by the decade's end, dozens more dotted the continent. Each branch adapted the London model to local needs: English lessons for immigrants, vocational classes for factory workers, and recreation for young men far from home. In 1855, representatives from 9 countries gathered in Paris and established a worldwide alliance, linking YMCAs from Europe, North America, and beyond into a global Christian fellowship. As the movement matured, the YMCA began shaping modern culture in unexpected ways. It pioneered the concept of holistic youth development, nurturing body, mind, and spirit together. The physical education programs at YMCA training schools transformed how people viewed exercise and health. In 1891, James Naismith, a Canadian instructor at the YMCA training school in Springfield, Massachusetts, invented basketball to keep students active indoors during the winter. Just a few years later, another instructor introduced volleyball. These games spread worldwide through YMCA networks, becoming global sports. The YMCA also promoted health and hygiene long before public systems did, viewing physical fitness as part of one's moral and spiritual duty. The Y's social mission extended to education and moral reform. It offered night school classes for working men, literacy programs for immigrants, and Sunday recreational activities to promote wholesome living. Many YMCAs opened libraries, sponsored debates, and hosted lectures to cultivate the intellect alongside faith. In doing so, the YMCA became one of the most forward-thinking social movements of the 19th century, showing that Christianity could transform society by uplifting individuals in every aspect of life. Among its most enduring contributions was its role in racial justice. In 1853, Anthony Bowen, a formerly enslaved man turned community leader, founded the first African-American YMCA in Washington, D.C. Bowen's branch was more than a spiritual haven. It was a center for education, leadership, and community empowerment in a segregated society. As urban centers expanded and Black migration increased after the Civil War, colored YMCAs emerged in dozens of cities across the United States. By 1896, nearly 60 were in operation, though most were segregated from white branches due to prevailing racism. Yet these institutions became pillars of their communities, offering vocational training, mentorship, and recreation in safe, dignified environments. Leaders such as William Hunton dedicated their lives to strengthening these branches and pressing for equality within the national YMCA. They bridged community service with advocacy, laying the groundwork for the organization's gradual embrace of racial integration. Many Black YMCAs became incubators for civil rights leadership. The Dunbar YMCA in Chicago, for example, hosted figures like Thurgood Marshall and Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., serving as a vital meeting place for the civil rights movement. In 1946, the National YMCA took a formal step toward integration by adopting an interracial charter declaring racial equality an official organizational goal. Implementation was uneven, and some branches resisted, maintaining segregation into the 1960s. But Black YMCA leaders and their allies refused to retreat. Their persistence led to the formation of the National Conference of Black and Non-White YMCA laymen and staff in 1968, pushing for true representation and reform. These efforts helped reshape the YMCA into a more inclusive organization, one that sought to live out the gospel's vision of unity amid diversity. The YMCA's service to humanity extended well beyond race relations. From its earliest years, it championed education as a ministry of compassion. It founded evening colleges and technical institutes that evolved into universities such as Golden Gate University and Fenn College. During the Great Depression, when millions faced unemployment and despair, local YMCAs became sanctuaries of stability, offering job training, affordable meals, youth programs, and moral encouragement. In every crisis, the Y found creative ways to translate faith into tangible service. The association's work during wartime also left a lasting mark. During the American Civil War, YMCA volunteers supported soldiers through the U.S. Christian Commission, providing food, prayer, and reading materials. By World War I, the YMCA operated thousands of huts and canteens across Europe and Asia, supplying correspondence materials and spiritual support to troops far from home. During World War II, the Y extended similar services, offering recreation, moral care, and aid to prisoners of war and displaced persons. From this experience grew the blueprint for the United Services Organization, USO, which continues to serve soldiers and families today. As the 20th century unfolded, the YMCA adapted to a changing world. The rise of secularism and cultural pluralism required a rethinking of its identity. While it remained grounded in Christian values, the YMCA broadened its mission to include people of all faiths and backgrounds, emphasizing shared ideals such as service and community. Yet these expansions brought new challenges. In recent years, debates over gender identity and inclusivity have tested the YMCA's ability to uphold its Christian foundation while engaging an increasingly diverse society. These tensions illustrate the enduring challenge of living out the gospel in a complex modern age. Financial pressures also forced the YMCA to innovate. Many local branches restructured to survive, embracing nonprofit business models and expanding into fitness centers, childcare programs, and after-school activities. These practical adjustments ensured that the YMCA's mission, helping individuals grow in spirit, mind, and body, remained alive and relevant. The organization continues to balance its religious roots with its role as a modern community institution, demonstrating that faith-driven service can adapt without losing its soul. The YMCA's influence on modern life is greater than most realize. It helped establish the idea of organized youth programs, inspired the Boy Scouts, and even contributed to the creation of Father's Day. It promoted early health campaigns and civic responsibility long before these became standard in public policy. Modern gym culture, with its emphasis on balanced physical and moral health, owes much to the YMCA's early integration of faith and fitness. Its motto, developing the spirit, mind, and body, continues to echo through schools, churches, and community centers across the world. Today, with more than 10,000 local associations worldwide serving millions, the YMCA stands as one of the largest and most enduring Christian service organizations in existence. Its influence is visible not only in its programs, but in the lives it has shaped. Pastors, teachers, athletes, activists, and ordinary citizens who found purpose through its mission. When Kevin Washington became the first Black CEO of the National YMCA in 2015, his leadership represented both progress and continuity. A reminder that the organization still seeks to embody the ideals of inclusion and service that began with Anthony Bowen and George Williams generations ago. Through every transformation, the YMCA has remained steadfast in its purpose to strengthen communities by building healthy spirit, mind, and body for all. Its annual celebrations, from honoring Black History Month to organizing youth service days, remind the world that Christianity at its best is active, compassionate, and creative. From a small prayer meeting above a London shop to a global network reaching millions, the YMCA's story testifies to the enduring power of faith put into action. It shows how conviction, when guided by grace and courage, can transform not only individuals, but entire societies. If you enjoyed learning about how faith shaped one of the world's most influential social movements, subscribe for more stories from church history, where faith, courage, and community changed the world.